Councilman Tim Carroll to lead us in invocation, and if you remain standing for the pledge, please.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight with humble hearts and open minds. Help us do the right things for the people of this city. Help us to do the right things for our community, and help us make wise decisions. We ask that you do all of this in your son's name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Council, we'll move on to the item 2, minutes approval. The Council's had time to review the minutes from the April 11, 2024 regular meeting. Are there any additions or deletions at this time? Seeing none and hearing none, the minutes are approved by acclamation. Item 3, bids, contracts, agreements, and expenditures. Consideration of bids for the fire hydrant valve insertion equipment for the Utilities Department. Jason Barnes, our Assistant Utilities Director, will present to Council and to our citizens. And Jason, how you doing?
Good. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the bids for fire hydrant valve insertion equipment for the Utilities Department, bid number 29-23-24. Utilities Department needs to purchase a new fire hydrant valve insertion equipment to use around the city where staff is not able to shut off the water to the main line or the fire hydrants. The equipment allows for shut-off valves to be installed on lines without interrupting customer service. And then once a new valve is installed, it will allow for the water to be shut off in case of emergencies where the pipe is leaking or ruptured. We had one sealed bid that was received on April 4th. We're signing contractors in the amount of $301,650,000. If you can scroll down, Mr. Reese has got the pictures up. So the first one, that's the valve body that's bolted in place with the split retainer glands is where it starts at. And then the next picture is the attached temporary isolation valve. And then there's your mount tapping machine at the top that makes the tap into the pipe. And then you tap the pipe to remove the section of the pipe. And once that's done, you can see how the piece is going. You're going to make the tap. Mr. Reese, you can go to the next one. And that's just another picture of it. And then you close the isolation valve on the side. And once you close it, you remove the tapping machine. And then you got the complete section of pipe that was removed from the cover when you made the tap. So you take that out. And then the mount insertion tool to the isolation valve, you remove it. And then you insert the valve bonnet assembly in the valve body. And then you remove the insertion tool and the isolation valve, and there is your insertion valve in that last picture there. So this would be able for us to, we got 25 hydrants that needs to be repaired or replaced, and we would have to cut everybody's water off. Customers that are able to do this will prevent that from happening. We'll be able just to cut that water off to that hydrant, be able to repair or replace that. The staff recommends to approve the bid submitted by Cyclone Contractors in the amount of $301,650 and allow the utility department to proceed with the purchase. I'll be glad to answer any questions.
Council, any questions for Jason? Jason, thank you.
Thank you.
Council, it's yours for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve the contract as presented.
Second. A motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Motion carries. Jason, thank you. Council, thank you. Move on to item B, consideration of bids for the purchase of one crew cab 1500 series truck for the Public Works Department. Larry Ogden, our Public Works Administrator, to present. Larry, how you doing?
Good. How about yourself, Mr. Mayor?
Very good.
Good evening, Council. Good evening. The Public Works Department needs to purchase a crew cab 1500 pickup truck. This vehicle will replace vehicle 1600, which is a 2002 Ford Expedition. We received 3 sealed bids on March the 5th, 2024. One from Cash Birch in the amount of $42,300 Second one from Langdale Ford for $45,113.85. And a third bid from Carl Black Automotive Group for $54,239. This vehicle, like I said, will replace a aged Ford Expedition, and it will come with a 3-year warranty, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper, and it will also come with a 5-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Council, any questions for Larry? Larry, thank you. Council, again, yours for action.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion we approve this request presented by Mr. Ogden.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. All in opposition, same sign. Motion carries 3-1. Move on to item C, consideration of a modified intergovernmental agreement with the Valdosta Lowndes County Industrial Authority for infrastructure improvements in support of the new Walmart manufacturing project. Ben O'Dowd, our city engineer, to present. Ben, hi.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good evening. I have before you a revised intergovernmental agreement, which details the relationship and the agreement between the City of Valdosta and the Valdosta Lowndes County Development Authority for the cost of construction for the infrastructure improvements located at the intersection of 84 and Interperimeter. As you're aware, this has been brought before you before, under the auspices that the Development Authority would receive an EDA grant. Unfortunately, the Development Authority did not receive that EDA grant. And so what I have before you is a revised arrangement with the Development Authority, which details our supplement of the project in order to deliver it as originally stipulated within that agreement. There are two blanks. I want to draw attention to two blanks within the agreement on page 3. Where it details the scope of work, elimination, reduction, or modification. There are two blanks there. One is a percentage, and one is a blank which details who is to certify the completion of that percentage. Those blanks are 70%, and the authority's engineer will be the text which is inserted within that blank. The details of that particular section, in an effort to remain within budget, we've identified a portion of the scope which can be delayed and implemented later. And if we run into cost overruns or issues with delivery of the scope, in order to remain within the budget stipulated within this agreement, we have the authority, the city has the authority to modify the scope and reduce the scope in order to remain within budget. I can answer any questions that you might have about this.
That money that you've identified, when can we absorb that back into the project? At what point are we released from the overrun?
70%.
At 70%, it'll come back to us?
So what we're hoping to do is there's portions of it which are essential to provide water service to the industry initially, and then there's a secondary line which interconnects the water system on Interperimeter with the water system that ends at Blanchard Street on 84. That interconnection is important because it provides a tertiary support for the industry, but we already have primary and secondary support for the industry's water use on the water main on Interperimeter Road. So we are planning to deliver the project as originally understood, with the two water mains, the gravity sewer and the elevated storage tank, but we are holding that portion of scope for the water main that goes down 84 in reserve in case we hit some kind of unforeseen field circumstance.
Solution.
Yeah.
Council, any questions for Ben?
Could you tell me why the other facility backed out?
The other facility.
You said someone reneged and they decided not to.
So the Development Authority they applied for an EDA grant, and forgive me, I don't want to butcher this, but I believe that is Economic Development Authority. Mm-hmm. It's a state or federal entity which can support industrial development within municipalities, specifically those industrial developments which, similar to this one, generate a number of jobs. That grant, the Development Authority did not receive that grant as anticipated, and so in an effort to deliver the project as as originally understood. We modified or proposed that the IGA be modified to supplement the project budget.
And Ms. Cody, that grant's never been denied before, at least in some amount, so it was a kick in the teeth.
So that make it, we're gonna have to, take the bait to fund everything the city will.
All of the publicly owned infrastructure there. So everything that we're funding the construction of, we will own. An elevated water tank, water mains, and a gravity sewer main.
And we have,
Term though, that's good for us, isn't it? Excuse me.
oh yeah,
Yes, sir. So the project is, the intent of this was to deliver the project as originally scoped, because the original scope of the project is in alignment with our long-term plan for utilities extensions.
I'm looking at the 400 jobs coming in. That's one reason you got me going toward approving this and going to see if we can make this happen. But I just don't want the city to keep spending our money. Are we bonded with this? Have we got guarantees with this?
So the work as performed will be required to be warranted by the installer. One thing that I do want to mention is that in association with this, a modified utility service availability letter has been supplied to Walmart, which details their minimum purchase agreement. The original minimum purchase agreement was 70% of their permit amount, and the revised minimum purchase agreement will detail a minimum purchase of 85% of their permit amount.
All right.
So we try to match the supplement in revenues to be commensurate with the increase in capital expense.
Thank you.
Well, Council, any further questions for Ben? Ben, thank you. Council, again, it's yours for action.
Mayor, make a motion to approve this amended IGA as presented. Second.
A motion and a second. Any further comments? All in favor, show of hands. Council, thank you. Ben, thank you for that presentation. Thank you for all your hard work as well. All right, we'll move on to item 4, citizens to be heard. This is the portion of the meeting that we ask you to come forward, state your name and address so we may have it for the record. Our policy requires that you stay under 3 minutes so that others have time to be heard. Please direct all comments to council as a whole. Do not attempt to engage individual members of council in debate. It's our policy to follow through with you almost immediately. Additionally, we ask that any groups that want to address the council designate one spokesperson to represent the group and their comments. Again, this will ensure that others have time to be heard. Having said that, are there any citizens wishing to be heard? Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
Name and address.
Hey. I'm Maureen Carter. I live at 602 Ledgedale Circle for 39 years. I am the spokesperson. Concerning the 618 Ledgedale Circle and the restricted covenants, this core neighborhood has 22 homeowners zoned R15 single-family dwelling only with restricted covenants self-renewing since 1954. 13 of the 20 seniors have lived in their homes over 30 years. 618 Ledgedale is owned by Dr. Michael Amy Bogu and investment company Growthx. Legacy Realtor property manager verbally conveyed to the property line neighbors at 620 and others that it is an Airbnb short-term rental which occupied 412 through 414. No building permits for primary home or a dwelling accessory guest house under construction were obtained when work began in February. A stop order issued 418, Andy Bogo paid fines, and a building permit issued 419 registered it as a garage storage building. Several watches found it to be a storage building for people. 90% complete with high-end quality finishes. This allows additional space for short-term rental, Airbnb, an unspecified number of sleeping and entertainment quarters. An enterprise business is a direct violation of the restricted covenants, as you'll read in your packet, along with 6 other violations. A third building, totally out of street view, could be renovated for another people's storage building. The half-acre lot could potentially become a compound of transit nomads. An R15 violating a single-family dwelling primary home. The entire operation is out of control and needs to be stopped. The tax assessor's records show a two-car garage only and no third building. Now, the main resolve is, who is going to enforce the R-15 zoning and the restricted covenants for Ledgedale Circle? Zoning did back the covenants 20 years ago in another situation and we prevailed. Today, all the authorities and departments that I have been to offering the restricted covenants will have nothing to do with them due to the lack of understanding. Only one authority was interested in copying the covenants and offered her help, which we greatly appreciate. Zoning should leave the guidance with the marshal's back. We should not be forced to hire a legal representation to enforce the city to do their job. We ask the leader of the city to regulate with the city attorney, Mr. Tanner, the city councils, and the marshals to do the right thing. Ledgedale Circle asks to be kept to the Valdosta Land Development Regulations and the Comprehensive Plan and the residential character outlined in the self-renewing 1954 covenants for which there is no statute of limitations. I'd like, since we have a second for the people from Ledgedale Circle, to please stand. Do you have a question?
No, we do not. That's not what this forum's for, but thank you very much. And if you'll stay around afterward, Nietzsche Riley will approach you, and as will one of our city managers.
And I thank everybody from Ledgedale.
Thank you all for coming. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Good evening, Mayor, Councilman. I'm also a homeowner on Ledgedale Circle, and my concern is the flooding that is constantly flooding my yard and my neighbor's yard. And I have pictures showing and emails showing that we have contacted the city to come down and do something about it. If you come in from the north side of Ledgedale off of Bemis, until you get into the circle, on the north side, there's no drainage nowhere to be found. There have drainage on the other side of 612 Ledgedale Circle, where when the water comes down, it just floods our yard with all the debris coming from Bemis all the way down into our yard. And it's a nuisance and a hazard because we have to clean up all that. If it'd be like, say, 40% rain or better, it just floods our yard. And so I got the pictures so you can see it. Like I said, we've been in contact with the city. They come out a couple times and dug about half a foot little trench, but it doesn't help and it does not solve that problem.
What's that address again, sir?
612 Ledgedale Circle. It started at 614, 612, and 615. Those three homes, the water just come in and just sits there. And like I say, if it's 40% more rain, for days it just flooded out. And
A different person will approach you if you'll hang around after the meeting.
okay. And I got one more gentleman to say. As you come in, we got that courage in there, and we need speed bump there because when you come around that curve, it's only, the road can only accommodate one vehicle, and they come through there, people that don't live in that circle come through there hauling butt. And we have young kids and stuff, and, you know, it's a danger to our area.
Speed limits too.
Two issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Councilman.
You're welcome.
Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good evening. My name is Carlos Hunley. I live at 909 Macadam Trail, Valdosta 41602. I'm a local educator and the Executive Director of the nonprofit Advancing Valdosta, formerly Weed and Seed. I'm before the council on this evening to ask for support for my upcoming summer initiative known as Bridging the Gap. Yeah, you're familiar with that, Mayor. Thank you for your support on last year. We do this on an annual basis to help prevent the proverbial summer slide, where when students are out for the summer break, there tends to be lack of exposure to academics. And so we do our best as certified teachers and paraprofessionals with the school district to bridge that gap so that students are school ready when they go back in the fall. As you would see on the handout which I had before you, I gave you a brief overview about bridging the gap and the request that I'm standing before you right now. And of course, I'll leave that up to your discussion and discretion, but we would really appreciate it if you would be supportive.
Carlos, thank you. And hang around. We'd love to talk to you more about the program afterward.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Good afternoon. My name is Alvin Baldwin, and I live at 2522 Lonesomdorf Road. I am calling because I'm having a hard time getting things accomplished with Centella. I can't get out to go to work in the morning. I can't get out. I can't even come home because traffic is backed up so bad to the point where on yesterday with Councilman Cody and Valsa PD was out there to actually see exactly what we see, and actually Sheriff Park had already said, hey, start giving tickets, because they park in the turning lane, and they stay there. So then now the traffic is all the way back almost to J.R. Lubin. You can't even get around to go to your house. And if you go the other way, you can't come down from Perimeter to Park Avenue to get to your house because they're parked on the shoulder to a certain point. Then they got to park in the street. And this has all been verified by Councilman Cody and the Valdosta Police Department. So the buck has been thrown around too many times. Sometimes it's the state got to do this, or it's the Sheriff Department's problem, or it's the Police Department. We need to come up with somebody got to have something to do about this situation, because once there's an accident or an emergency and nobody can't get around, there's going to be a major problem out there. If you don't believe me, just go out there about 2:45 tomorrow afternoon and just sit and watch.
Mr. Baldwin, hang around after, please. We've looked at that many times. That is a nightmare out there.
Yes.
So, sorry, and we will continue to address it.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Mayor, council members, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
My name's Michael Maurice. I'm a citizen of Madison County, Florida. I just retired after 31 years from the Madison County Sheriff. I retired from the Madison County Sheriff's Office after 31 years of service, and I'm currently the candidate for the District 5 County Commission seat. I've spent several hours going over data and reports provided by the Health Department, the Department of Environmental Protection, and several other entities about the latest and previous sewage spills into the Withlacoochee River. Last night, the Madison County Commission held a meeting, and it was a packed house. There was representatives there from the Department of Health, the Florida Representative Alan Taint, and the Swanee River Keepers were there, and also citizens, and they all provided the commissioners with data and information pertaining to the most current spill. I vowed in my campaign that if I got elected, I would do everything I could to help try to figure out some way that we could alleviate the problem. And after hearing everything last night and spending hours looking over data and everything, I realized that November was too long to wait. So I decided that I would come just talk with y'all tonight. I understand, I'm not here to complain. I understand there's already been millions of dollars spent trying to fix the problem, but obviously it hasn't completely fixed it. I also understand it's not an easy fix and it's going to take some time, but after going over all the data and the reports and hearing all the information that was provided last night, I feel there's a couple questions that need to be answered that could not be answered at the commission meeting last night. And one of those answers is from what my understanding, that there was a meeting sometime Tuesday, or supposed to be, between the city manager and the wastewater engineer
on coming up with a plan to expand capacity so we would have less spills or less problem with spills. And I posed a question to the council, or anybody that can answer, what was the outcome of that meeting and what options were being considered. Also, time is of an essence in notifying people who may potentially have contaminated wells so they don't drink the water and get sick because it's got E. coli in it or whatever. According to the city's own press release, city workers were aware of the most recent spill on Friday, April 12th, but no advisory was put out until the following Monday, April 15th, 3 days later. Can the council or anybody provide me with some information why there was such a long delay in getting that information, that pertinent information out to the citizens of Madison County? You can answer me later. I can give you my contact information. You can meet with me after.
I will grab the city engineer and meet with you immediately after the meeting.
Thanks, sir.
Yep. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
Renee Council, and I live at 1202 Lakeland Avenue. The 18th of April, when it did that hard rain, my house sits right behind the senior citizen building. In the back, they have that blue line stream. Once that overflow, my house is like a pond, my yard. I had to get out 3 o'clock in the morning because the water was coming in my house. And I have dealt with this, I mean, it's been a while, but I don't get any help from anyone to try to even build that up in the back or what. My house, the only one that it drips down like that. Everybody else thing is in the back is sitting up high. Except Forge on Pano.
What's your address again, Ms. Council?
1202 Lakeland Avenue.
All right. Please hang around. Yes, please.
I'm Hazel Edgecombe, 2100 Penn Oak Circle. We had 3 floods on Penn Oak, Lakeland, 1202, 2100, 2101 to 5. December the 2nd, April the 18th. It don't make sense for our house to flood out. And the sewer didn't run over this time, but the water. We need help. We're not renters, we are owners. We own our house. But the city got to do better than what they're doing. About this situation.
We'll come look at that. We got your address down.
You all told us when we came in the other meeting, we met with Ben. That's the engineer.
Yep.
Nothing been did since December the 2nd.
Okay.
Then I got another problem. It took me 30 minutes from Penn Oak Circle to get to Valdosta High School because traffic was jammed, backed up, all the way back to Park Avenue. That don't make sense. And the people won't let you go. They're busy on the phone talking, won't let you go by. It shouldn't have took me 30 minutes to go to Valdosta High School. You can't even go to jail leaving. It is packed out. Something got to be did.
Yep. Correct. You are correct. 4 schools on 1 2-lane road does not work.
You got 3 schools over there, Joel Lee, the Trotter, and Valdosta High School.
WG none at the beginning, too.
Well, there ain't no problem about WG9 really because they got to make a left turn off the Park Avenue. I do a lot of riding. I do a lot of calling.
Me too.
Mr. Hardy knows something about me. Don't you, Mr. Hardy? I'm Ms. Edgecombe.
All right.
Y'all got to do something because it don't make sense.
I'll come talk to you after the meeting.
You gonna talk to me?
I sure will.
I'm looking for you to talk
Not
to me.
going anywhere.
Not Mr. Hardy. Not you.
Nope.
You.
Me.
Somebody you did.
You got it.
I'm gonna hold you against that. You understand?
You got it.
Because I'm sick and tired of it. It's too much going on in Valdosta. It seems like don't nobody care. flooding, the cheering, teachers. Come on, y'all got to do something. Did your house get flooded out?
It did.
Did yours? Yours? Yours?
No, ma'am.
Yours? So y'all don't even know how I feel. I can't go out of town. I can't go to a funeral. I can't go to
Time's up.
So I need to come
I'll
back.
meet you after the meeting. Time's up.
Boy,
Thank you, though.
Ms. Hazel, what he's saying is wait after the meeting.
Do not go anywhere, please. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time?
excuse me. Yes, can you hear me all right?
You sure can.
Now, I'll be hearing impaired, so if you ask me any questions, it may be hard for me to hear. You have to speak up. I know a lot of you, some of you have tried to scuba dive, okay? And I started down in 1985. I got in the Air Force, retired from the Air Force in 1989. And I was fortunate to get my property in Ledgedale Circle in 1994. I bought it from a friend of mine that had lived there. And we were having repairs done on the road. There's a north and an east Ledgedale Circle, and the north side is just beat all up like somebody doesn't know how to make patches in the street. And we had one spot where a water line broke. It got repaired, but then it falls in. And every time it rains, it's full of water. You go down the street, I drive a van, and you beat yourself to death inside the van if you hit the marks. So everybody travels down south side because it's halfway smooth, but there needs to be repairs done, something on the roads, especially in the north Ledgedale Circle area. And Ms. Carter's got a package that she handed out to you guys, and I sure hope that everybody reads that over. It's got a series of pictures that I took of the house that it was in question at 618. I walked over there to meet the gentleman and hollered at whoever was there. The lights were on, doors were open. I went in, took pictures, and it's not a storage room. It's been built up for a B&B household, is what it's been made for. And they've got 3 separate buildings where there's only supposed to be one proper building, and then the other outbuildings are supposed to be for storage. I can understand that. Well, this sucker is going in with bathrooms, kitchen, it's got drains, it's got plugs, utilities. They had the plumbers out there all this last week when they had a freeze, they had a halt of any production. Nobody listens to that because nobody inspects it. Okay, they had a halt. I took pictures of the stop and desist thing on the wall in the window, and right beside was the permits that the guy went to get, and he's got, had it all bulldozed up, probably 60 feet worth of plumbing put still out of the ground they were putting in, and get ready to go. Now they've got that all closed up. I went over to see and meet the guy. Nobody was there. All the lights were on, doors were open, so I took pictures. Got 3 businesses there, 3 different buildings, and everybody here needs to pay attention to a halt FAMP area in town. Okay?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other citizens wishing to be heard? Yes.
Hello, my name is Mark Kane. It's 614 Ledgedale Circle. My property is probably the start of the problem of drainage. I've been here almost 23 years. It pretty much, I have a lake about as big as your desk there every time the rain comes. I've told them to do what they want to do to fix it. I don't want no massive culvert out there, but do what you need to do because past me, the other citizens that have came, their yard does get flooded. Mine does too, but there's nothing I don't think I can do about it. Main thing is, our road is terrible, but I've been riding the roads here for 43 years in my own business, lawn care, so there's many more streets worse than ours, but it is bad. I'm mainly here because do not want a motel, Airbnb, where there's no telling how many amount of people could come in there and stay for a a week, a month, however long the party wanted to be. And that's just not a thing you want a neighborhood to do, and I think that should be stopped by the city, not us hiring lawyers to do that. That shouldn't be our responsibility. That's a city councilman and all the marshals and all this and that that's already in effect should be taking care of that. Just wanted to say that.
All right. We'll meet you as a group after the meeting.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Hi, John.
Hi there, John Quarterman. I get my mail at 3338 Country Club Road, Suite RPMB 336, although, as you're all aware, I do not now nor have I ever lived in the city of Valdosta. I live in unincorporated Lawrence County. Okay, so when y'all did the ribbon cutting for the testing lab, I got interviewed by the TV and I complimented the acting utilities director by name. And I stand by the opinion that since he's been running things, there have been fewer sewage spills, that have been stopped more quickly, and the press releases about them have been more informative, and also closer to the time it happened. And last night in Madison County, there was a meeting in Madison County, I was asked by several people, what about all these new people in city positions? And I also said that the city engineer, in my opinion, is an improvement over his predecessor, and the city manager, and even the mayor. So, and I think all of you, including the council, of course, are working hard to solve this sewer system problem. However, there is room for improvement. As you already heard the opinion from Madison County, knowing about a huge spill on Friday and not telling the public till Monday is kind of a problem. When I did post about it after the press release came out, the Facebook version of that got shared 487 times. For reference, our average post gets shared 2 times. And if you read through all the comments on all those shares, I don't recommend you take the time to do that, but I have. I can tell you most of those people have no idea what Valdosta has already done to address the sewer system problem. And right now, we don't have any idea of what you're going to do to make sure there's no repeat of what happened this time in the big spill. And I don't know, the people in this room don't know. It's already more than a week after that press release, and you haven't told the public anything. Now, I understand it takes a little time to work out some options, but there's a lot of people that would really like to know, and it sure would help if at the testing lab ribbon cutting, I had already found out that y'all weren't testing downstream, the 3 downstream River Park and Ocopoco Creek, and then I discovered you're only testing once a week in only 2 places. So that has sent a signal that was fired up by this late press release, which is not an image you really want, it being slow and unresponsive. You can fix that.
Are there any other citizens wishing to be heard at this time? Seeing none, we'll end this portion of the evening and move on to the city manager's report.
Yes, good evening, Mayor, Council. We have a lot of events going on for the next several weeks. We're finishing up this week with Georgia City's Week Public Works Department. They're doing a touch a truck. Over 100 kids will be there. This will be at 1017 Myrtle Street from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., inviting everyone to come out to see how some of the things that the Public Works Department, some of the vehicles that they utilize. On April the 27th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., we're having a community road cleanup. This will take place on Marion Street from East Park Avenue to East College Street. The meeting place that we'll assemble to get all of the tools, the cleaning equipments, will meet at 607 East Park Avenue, inviting the community to come out and take part. May the 3rd at 5 p.m. kicks off our first Friday after 5. This is downtown Valdosta.
May the 18th from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. This is our memorial headstone cleaning out at the Sunset Hills Cemetery. Again, inviting all the citizens, everyone to come out, take part in this event. Summing up, we'll take from May the 6th to the 10th, we will have our brown bag lunch concerts. This will take place at the Unity Park each day from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Come on out, food trucks, and music. That's all I have.
Richard, thank you. Council, we'll move on to council comments. Any comments from there?
Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hardy, our previous councilman, Willie Rayford's wife passed, and her funeral is going to be Saturday at 11 a.m. at Morning Star Baptist Church. And I'm asking that we send a flower or a wreath in behalf of the city of Valdosta.
Done.
And her body is being held at the Heritage Funeral Home. And tomorrow night, Mr. Rayford advised they're going to be doing a fish fry at his home on Lake Park Road. If any of the council can use, just give him a call, stop by, he'll be highly appreciated.
Thank you for that information. Tim?
Mayor, I'd just like to apologize to everyone for running a little bit behind, so if y'all can just forgive me for that. Thank y'all. There's going to be a men's mental health clarity event going on this Saturday at DSU from 10:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Anyone like to go out, reach out to myself, and I have some people who will be able to get you tickets.
Appreciate it. All right, council, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Council, thank you.